All right, so we're talking today about jesters and clowns and the importance of them within the medieval court, what they provided as prophets of the age, and the mimers, if you will, the court mimers who presented allegory to love. And that might be a key phrase to look at. You know, as we say love, we have this sense of, I love thee, wife. I love you, wife. I'll love you eternally. And we say all these words. We try to express it through, working hard and, showing that we're dedicated to them, et cetera, et cetera. And my wife had sent me a picture, a meme, which is a key word again, a meme, a mimetic, of this, if you see this right here, these two people, or two beings, put it this way, who have their flesh torn from them. So you see the striated muscles and the muscles and tendons that wrap the bone. And they're decked with the constellations. They're decked with light and energy and things that you wouldn't necessarily see with the ocular observance, and the act or the art of poetry, which is trying to captivate love. And I want to read this little poem or this statement about love, okay, while you look at the picture of these two beings that are pretty much wrapped in the constellations of light, being exposed with no flesh. When you love someone, they become a part of who you are. They're in everything you do. They're in the air you breathe and the water you drink and the blood in your veins. Their touch stays on your skin and their voice stays in your ears. And their thoughts stay in your mind. You know their dreams because their nightmares pierce your heart. And their good dreams are your dreams too. And you don't think they're perfect, but you know their flaws, their deep down truth of them, the deep down truth of them, and the shadows of all of their secrets. And they don't frighten you away. In fact, you love them more for it, because you don't want perfect, you want them. And that was a poem or a statement by Cassandra Clare. And the artwork is by Cameron Gray, and it's called "If Only the Sky Would Disappear." So it's a very intriguing picture. Mm-hmm. And matter of fact, when you see them wrapped with the clouds, and you see them, again feathered with the clouds in the bottom, you see that they're bigger than probably just a human. Yeah. So it's an expression, mimetic again, of something of love that is bigger, more grandiose than what we would speak in the fleshly realm. So I was reading this thing, and I'm getting into the comedy, clowns, mimesis. That comedy, in its raw form, does not have to be ha-ha laughter. Now, it can be. Comedy is ecstasis. Comedy is that ecstatic feeling by which you are released from the burdens and the weight of this flesh, which is the mundane. It is that thing which is work, fatigue, drolling through the day, and the endless drone of life. That's, we get that. That's the fleshly side. Like, when is it going to end? When do I get to take a vacation? When do I try to escape this? And when you get to Florida, wherever you're going, after a while you start saying, God, I can't get rid of my body. Because when you get to the other side, are you still not trapped? In a sense, I hate to say it like that. And I love taking, if I can ever take a vacation with just me and my wife, and I hate to say it, but alone, I could get something out of it. But right now, I cannot. I love my kids, but they're a lot of work, and they have lots of different opinions right now. They're coming to terms with who they are as adults, which is a great thing. They question everything, which is fine. But in the process, it is it is the killing off of the parent in some ways, which I can take it for so long, and then I have to get out. So it's like, okay, go kill somebody else for a change. Go find your peers and kung fu chicken them. I'm done. I'm done for the day.
It's interesting too that you've gotten to experience it at different stages of your life too.
Yes, that's a very good point, Al. You've known me for a long time, and you're exactly right. With my first and raising her when I was younger, and I could a different paradigm. I could handle it with the energy more, but also that I raised her with just me and her, so there wasn't any sibling rivalry and sibling companionship, which in the finding of themselves they can find. How do I say it? And I say this with all respect and understanding, they can invent the enemy in order to feel stronger with themselves.
Yeah.
And and I mean, again, an easy target can be the stepdad. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Let's hate him so we can like each other more.
Yeah.
And that's understood. It's not like woe is me, but again, I need to. The fatigue has got to go. I can't thrive in that always, and I don't mean to make it about this, but what I'm getting at is the comedy by a clown, a modern day prophet, comedian. I think that the modern comedian is an echo of something so much greater. And anytime you got a question, please feel free, because I'm straining here to do it, but I'm trying to pull this out. And I'm like, okay, I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm getting there. Mimesis. I want you to write that down. It's very important that we get this word, or mimetic, Mimesis. And there's a lot of associations with this word. One is the Greek word muo, muo. Now we can call that muo myth or mystery or mime, that which is not spoken of, only experienced, or mummer. Now the mummers were the ones who were the mimers. They were the ones who enacted the thing without the words. That's why I like listening to good jazz, good classical music, good art, like I showed you. I think that was a tremendous art piece. And in this case, the words substantiated the drawing, the art piece. I think it took me a little bit out of myself to look at that and to see that. And the taking of the sinew, the flesh, the flesh off, it kind of takes you out of your senses. It kind of shocks you a little bit, and looks at it as a raw thing. But that's the beauty, so there's a beauty in that art piece. It arrests you a little bit. Now again, James Joyce, the good art is something that arrests you, takes you out of your sense of anger, jealousy, pride, and goes, whoa, that kind of thing. But what was so interesting during the Middle Age court, by which in England they would do a marriage, was that the clowns would enact a love or a case for love, an allegory for Love, if I can find that book. It's by C.S. Lewis. It's called Allegory of Love. Another one is called Allegories of History, Allegories of Love by Stephen Barney, Stephen Barney. And he is a tremendous Anglo-Saxon scholar, hardback book. Definitely get it. If you get a chance, Allegories of Love by C.S. Lewis, absolute genius work. You can't get any richer than that. And then Dr. C. L. Barber, Shakespeare's Festive Comedy. I'm going to read a little piece by that. Yes, Shakespeare's Festive Comedy by C. L. Barber. And again, I'm just going to read it straight out. It's going to be cold, raw. Don't care. We're gonna feel it. The consciousness of the creative or poetic act itself, which pervades the main action, explains the subject matter of the burlesque accompaniment provided by the clowns. If Shakespeare were chiefly concerned with the nature of love, the clowns would be in love after their fashion. But instead, they are putting on a play that some commoners should honor the wedding in their own way.
Thank you for drying my scraps.
Along with the figures from pageantry is, of course, in keeping with the purpose of gathering into a play, the several sorts of entertainments usually presented separately. But an organic purpose is served too. The clowns provide a broad burlesque of the mimetic impulse to become something by acting it. The impulse which in the main action is fulfilled by imagination and understood by humor. Bottom feels he can be anything. What is Pyramus, a lover or a tyrant? Okay, I'm going to back up. So this is kind of like the introspection of Shakespeare in terms of a play that he set forth for the pageantry of a wedding. And so what happens is that the clowns are setting, if you will, a stage and setting for a wedding, a love feast. And by the way that the clown knows as a prophet, as a genius, they don't in themselves act out in love. They set the stage and setting for love. So what is an allegory of love versus love as we would know it? And that's the genius of the play, the players, the actors, the jesters, the mimers. And so when we enter into this, and there was a term what was it called? Yeah, fanfare. When we enter into the fanfare of the marriage, everything is set appropriately. Everything is placed, and that's the study of C.S. Lewis's The Cosmos. Everything must have its perfect placement. It's Greek word tithemi, in order to feel marriage, to feel wedding. And so the science is the art of feeling wedding as both stative and active. That's deep. And so we go back to the Greeks to understand in the Bacchanalian sense of the god, the Dionysian, the Eleusinian mysteries, the Mystei, which is the muo again, the unspoken word. When the dancers, the jesters, the clowns, the participants of the play, of the players who have been baptized in the pig's blood, they are now able to do the pure sacrament of the dance around the bonfire. They wear feathers, and what in the Greek word is called plastikos. Write that word down. feathers and streamers and nuts from the trees and strings and straps and all kinds of things that show when something is in motion, it flutters and flies as it will. But these participants, as they dance and flutter around the fire, in this Eleusinian Mystay, it is the plastikos that one watches as the act of God. It is where God, metathesis or tapanosis, where he comes down, and it is by this plastikos, which can be thrown away, but it represents the verb of the motion of the participants. We see the God within the plastikos. And so the plastikos becomes the sacrament. It becomes the holy thing, though in and of itself it can be thrown away. And that's what I've got to say today.